if you're entering somebody's home in the middle of the night while the person is asleep, do they know that it's an officer? Do they have a reasonable excuse to know that it's an officer? Now, the boyfriend said he repeatedly asked the officers to identify themselves, and they did not identify themselves, so he did not know who was entering his home. The first version of this story that I heard was that the officers knocked on the door, they banged on the door, and the boyfriend woke up, pulled his gun, and shot through the door. Now, when I first read the story, I was like, wow, he just pulled out his gun and shot through the door? Oh, man. You go into a court where the jury is already against you. They say it's a jury of your own peers, but they don't look nothing like you, and they don't represent you or understand you at all. And the narrative determines the verdict that the jury casts. So, man, that seemed crazy. But the boyfriend's story, his testimony, was that it was only after the intruders refused to identify himself that he reached under and grabbed his weapon. Now, this makes more sense to me, because unless you're sleeping with the weapon under your pillow, or you're sleeping with a holster on your hip, how do you wake up and just pull a gun and shoot? Okay? I'm going to ask who is it, and if you're not identifying yourself, this is going to make me go to grab my weapon. But if you want to remove castle doctrine from Breonna Taylor so that you don't get convicted as the officers, then first you have to say there was unlawful activity going. That's why you assert that there was drugs being sent to the apartment. And also you have to say, yes, we identified ourselves, and he still decided to shoot through the door. Okay, so this is the castle doctrine, and it is on these details that the indictment of the officers will be ruled in a conviction or not. Do you have anything to add?
No, but in the case of what we're trying to explain, no knock warrant. See, I have a personal story. Back in my days when I was actually thinking I was helping out friends, a friend of mine was a roommate, and the police was looking for him. They kicked in my door to come and get my friend. And the people know about me, and people know my guy Mike Smart. The police came, they kicked in the door. They acknowledged me, and they actually said who they are. They said BSO, but they grabbed him, then took my guns in for evidence, and took my other friend in for child support. So that's two guys going to jail and another guy having his protection taken away from him. Right. In the case of no knock warrant, he really just came, kicked in my door, grabbed the guy because he know he lived with me, and took him out. So the no knock warrant is kind of offensive, but yeah, we need to figure out how do you obtain that and how you can just come into our space.